Hi, welcome back to Makeover May. I'm Tasha Cleaveland, and today I am at Latitudes Art Gallery. I'll give you a little tour since I'm here. Let's see. This is our entry over here. We've got some small prints on the table, our books. What else do we have? Take you around. We've got some prints in stock that you can see back there, and a lot of displays, and these little vignettes that you can see, the little oh gosh, I'm not good at holding the camera that way, the little room views, so that when clients come into the gallery, they can visualize the art on their wall. Sometimes when you go to an art gallery, it's really hard to visualize because you've got this big wall and there's no context. And so creating these little vignettes that you see back here, like these little table scapes and scenarios, that helps a lot for people to visualize what the art's going to look like in their spaces. So today we are going to take a look at Colette's room, and Colette has a dining space that we're going to look at. And this dining space is large, and she doesn't have a lot of pieces in this space to kind of fill up the space. So it's a big room with a smaller dining table, and it feels a little bit empty. When Colette sent in her, let me see if I can show you. Yeah, there we go. So she sent in her submission like this with some tape on the wall. And this is actually what I recommend everyone do when they're trying to size artwork, is they tape out different sizes on the wall so they can visualize what that is going to look like in their space. And so it looks as though she may have a 30 by 60 taped out on her wall. And that is actually where I would recommend she started with her artwork sizing as well. So when you're working in a dining room space, you want to match the furniture, complement the furniture that's existing in the space with the artwork. Everything should be balancing each other out. And so in this space, she has a fairly average dining table. And I would say that the width on that dining table that we're looking at, the longest side, is probably close to a 72, maybe a little bit larger. But because it's not directly against the wall, compared with that sort of vanishing point, it's going to look a little bit smaller if we do the same size on the wall. So the tape could be a 72 inch. And so I would say somewhere in that 3672 to 30 by 60 feels about right for a space this size. Now, when you're sizing art for a big blank wall with no furniture on it, I'll get to that later. I'll show you that on a different room submission. You're going to use a different rule of thumb. But in this case, we're going to balance the furniture because there is furniture in this space. So for Colette, she did request some sunsets. And I went through and pulled some beautiful sunsets for Colette. And you can see that I've sized those out pretty much close to the tape that she had on her wall. And we're probably looking at a 72 inch there. The reason I like this one is because it does have those blue colors in it, as well as her flooring color. She doesn't have a lot happening in this space yet. It looks as though she might still need to be getting like a console table or a buffet or something like that for her to round out her dining space. And that piece is not here yet. So I would say something that's matching the colors that she currently has in her space. And she would likely go with something like a white cabinet if she is adding that furniture. And that would all stay cohesive with what she currently has. This sunset painted island is gorgeous in her space, but it's a little too vibrant for the soft palette that she has. When you look at just what she has here, it's very soft and calming. And so even though she did request a sunset, I'm going to say we need a softer sunset than that. This one is a beautiful pairing in her space. It does bring in some of those darker elements that she doesn't have yet, but I do like the contrast of that, the comparison. If you look at the sky, it's basically her dining set already. The gorgeous sunset is matching her flooring and pulls in that warmth. I really, really love this one in her space a lot. That's a Kauai image. And Matador Sunset, actually, I would say Matador Sunset is my favorite so far. I love the vanishing point. I love the sunset over there, and all of those colors in the sky and the water are spot on with her space. So I'm going to say Matador Sunset is probably my top pick at this point. Sunset Sail is also a gorgeous sunset for her. It's a completely different feeling. And that's one thing I want you to pay attention to as you're selecting artwork for your space, is you want to notice how those images make you feel. And then select the artwork based on how you want to feel in your space. And so this has a completely different feeling for me than this one does. And the Sunset Sail color palette is so perfect with those chairs. It's really, really a beautiful blending. It looks as though she might have some navy elements in the space. Maybe the kitchen where she's standing is what I'm guessing, has some more blue elements. And up here at the top of Sunset Sail, we do bring in some of those colors. So I think that works out really well. This is a different sunset view. It's not as bold of a sunset, but it is a very, very soft, beautiful sky, beautiful feeling, and very soft and cohesive with what she currently has. So that one is gorgeous, and I'm really, really loving it in her space. And the thing I want you to remember when you're working with, especially a dining room, a lot of people make the mistake in a dining room of just putting art above the chairs. When the chairs are at least 3 feet from the wall, we're not that close where it's going to be an issue, especially if you don't have little kids around that are going to be, slamming things around. If you have adults that are gentle with their chairs and don't typically bang the wall, it's not something that I would say you need to determine the size of your art based on that chair height. I think it's beautiful when you have an overlap like this and your artwork then hangs down below. The thing to remember when you're overlapping elements in your space with your art is that you don't want to cover up something important. So on this beach scene, we're not covering up the vital element of this picture. There's not like an important rock or the sunburst right behind a chair. It's just more of the same beach. And so it makes a lot of sense. It doesn't take away anything important. And as you're moving through that space, it is a living space. You're not just standing here all the time that you're looking at the picture. You're moving all the way through this room. And as you're moving through the room, you're going to see different sides of that picture. You're going to see different angles. And so it's not like you're always blocking that particular piece of the image. So it is okay if you do overlap like this. But I'm going to assume that she is going to get some sort of table or something back there. And I'm going to size it based on her original request of a 2-to-1 ratio. So let's take a look at our top picks. Matador Sunset, still my winner. So I'm going to size this one down and take a look at it in her space, a little bit more appropriately sized. And I wouldn't be afraid of going back just behind the chairs like that if necessary. So if we're going with Matador Sunset doesn't crop as well to a 2-to-1 ratio because we're going to lose some important pieces of that image. If I were to, let me make it so I can, if I were to take out some pieces of this image in order to get that shape, which is how we crop in the gallery, we're going to lose that. So it does work actually better than I expected. I'm not unhappy with it. That allows us to go a little bit larger with this image. Let me see. It's not letting me. Okay. It's not letting me. Why not? All right. So then we could go a little bit larger on that image if we needed to in this space. Now let's take a look at Sunset Sail. Sunset Sail does crop nicely to that size. So I'm going to go ahead and change that, and we'll take a look at what this looks like if we do the 2-to-1 ratio like what Colette has asked for on this wall. All right. Yay, at least that one's cooperating with me today. So if we size it for her space, I would say we're probably looking at something like that. That looks phenomenal in your room, Colette. I really, really love it there. And it bypasses the issue of overlapping with the chairs if we go to the 2-to-1 ratio. I'm really happy with your space. The other thing that I would recommend is rounding out the room with some elements like a plant. A plant is a really good filler because it doesn't take up a lot of visual weight. It doesn't feel cluttered if you do it the right way, but it fills in some of those holes that sometimes you don't really know what to do with. So I would say this is my top pick for you, Colette. This one and Matador Sunset. Let me pull that one back. Maybe it'll let me. It did let me. Yay. I'll size it appropriately for your space. I actually really, really love this one in there. So am having a hard time picking. I would say it has to do more so with how you feel when you look at these images on your wall. So, what kind of feeling you want in your space? Matador Sunset or Sunset Sail. Both are fantastic. Thank you again, Colette, for entering our Makeover May giveaway. You have only a couple of days left. Today is the 21st. You have 10 days left to enter if you haven't already entered our Makeover May giveaway. All you have to do is go to latitudesgallery.com, click on the Makeover May tab at the top, and submit your room view. You get a chance to win $1,000 of Latitudes artwork of your choice. Thanks so much. See you next time.